Now that the season 2 of The Rings of Power revealed that the stranger is indeed Gandalf, a new question emerges. Who is the Dark Wizard, and has his identity just been confirmed? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Fellowship of Fans video. Today, we are diving deep into one of the biggest questions yet in The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Who is the Dark Wizard? And why him being one of the Blue Wizards is the most likely answer. There are 5 Istari, or wizards in Tolkien's world, and we now know the stranger's identity. Since Tom Bombadil and the Dark Wizard himself have confirmed that he is also an Istar, that leaves 3 possibilities for the Dark Wizard's identity: Saruman, Radagast, or one of the 2 Blue Wizards. Today we'll explore the possibilities for who this Dark Wizard could be, starting with Radagast, then moving to Saruman, and finally discussing the Blue Wizards. So, is the Dark Wizard Radagast? This has always been the least likely option, and here is why. Firstly, the Dark Wizard character-wise shares no similarities with Radagast. We have seen nothing that points towards Radagast's love for nature and animals, and the general appreciation of life that is so central to Radagast as a person. The Dark Wizard operates through threats and is very quick and willing to harm others with his magic. These traits are a far cry to Radagast's gentleness and closeness with nature and protectiveness of life. Additionally, when it comes to appearances, the 2 of them have nothing in common either. Radagast is known as the Brown, while Dark Wizard wears gray-white robes and has a black staff with a red jewel in it, which simply doesn't fit at all with what little we know of Radagast. Finally, Radagast was never portrayed as evil in Tolkien's stories, making this option by far the most improbable. A popular theory among some fans is that the Dark Wizard could be Saruman. Firstly, the wizard's general appearance and demeanor resemble Christopher Lee's Saruman. His attempt to persuade Gandalf to join him is strongly reminiscent of Saruman's attempt in the films and in the books to sway Gandalf to his side. Next clue is the chapter of the Unfinished Tales titled The Istari, where it is said that Saruman ventured into the east with the 2 Blue Wizards, while, for example, the same isn't said for Radagast. Furthermore, Saruman eventually fell into darkness, and though he turned evil later in the timeline, his gradual fall would fit the idea of a wizard tempted by power. That said, Saruman's transformation was a slow process, driven by his obsession with the One Ring, making this theory pretty weak without clearer evidence. The main reason why this doesn't make sense is that having Gandalf fight an already evil Saruman all the way back in the Second Age would undermine the general story, making it implausible that the immortal good characters would trust Saruman throughout the entire Third Age. Such a change would disrupt the plot and render key relationships in The Lord of the Rings illogical. While the show has taken liberties with adapting Tolkien's text, it has made an active effort to stay in continuity with Jackson's films in particular. Thus, Saruman being the Dark Wizard is not something one should realistically expect in Season 3. The strongest theory points to the Dark Wizard being one of the Blue Wizards. In the season's final episode, the Dark Wizard confronts Gandalf and attempts to persuade him to join in overthrowing Sauron. Intriguingly, the Dark Wizard hints that Gandalf convinced him to come to Middle-earth, which may suggest Gandalf's relation to the character of Alatar, one of the 2 Blue Wizards. In the same chapter of the story that we have previously referenced, it is also said that Alatar chose to come to Middle-earth and asked his friend Palando to join him along, and together they would later become the Blue Wizards. In the context of what the Dark Wizard said, this would mean that Gandalf had invited him originally to travel to Middle-earth together. Of course, we shouldn't take everything he says at face value, but this statement does at least clearly wink towards this piece of Blue Wizard lore. Next, in letter number 211, Tolkien says the following: "What success they had, I do not know, but I fear that they failed, as Saruman did, though doubtless in different ways, and I suspect they were founders or beginners of secret cults and magic traditions that outlasted the fall of Sauron." In this first version of their story, the Blue Wizards had ultimately failed, turned to evil, and even founded secret cults. Throughout Season 2, the Dark Wizards' leadership of a magical cult is evident. There are many acolytes, or as they were called in Season 1, mystics, surrounding the Dark Wizard, and we also see the mystic known as the Dweller from Season 1 resurrected through a magical ritual led by the Dark Wizard himself. This suggests that he is deeply involved in the cultist traditions of the East, which clearly aligns with Tolkien's depiction of the two blue wizards who deviated from their original mission. However, Tolkien later envisioned a more positive destiny for the blue wizards, writing this note that can be found in the section Last Writings in the Peoples of Middle-earth. They must have had very great influence on the history of the Second Age and the Third Age, in weakening and disarraying the forces of East, who would both in the Second Age and Third Age otherwise have outnumbered the West. In this text, it is also mentioned that the two blue wizards arrived in the Second Age, around the time the rings were being made. So, in line with this version, our theory is that Gandalf might take on the role of a good blue wizard, essentially Gandalf the Blue, while the Dark Wizard would become the Dark Blue Wizard, a character who has strayed into evil. This would allow the show to combine Tolkien's two different versions of the two Blue Wizards' fate into one storyline, giving us both a heroic and a fallen Blue Wizard in Middle-earth. The final important piece of evidence of the identity of the two Blue Wizards came during the making of this video, as the showrunners did a Q&A on Reddit, and when asked about the Dark Wizard, this is what Patrick McKay had to say. I think it's hard to say anything is 100%, but we have no plans or intention to have him be Saruman. We are not thinking of him as Saruman. We know there are 5 wizards talked about in The Lord of the Rings. One of them is Saruman, one of them is Gandalf, one of them is Radagast, and then there are 2 others. It is our expectation that he will be one of those 2 others. With that said, it seems quite clear that the Dark Wizard is very unlikely to be Saruman, but rather extremely likely to be the Blue Wizard. However, it is important to mention the fact that it is possible that we might not hear the Dark Wizard referred to as a Blue Wizard specifically due to the potential rights limitations. But he could still go about being the Dark Blue Wizard for all intents and purposes, just without the official name drop. And with this quote from the showrunners, it certainly seems very likely. Either way, we're excited to see how this plays out. What about you? Did we miss some other clue, or do you perhaps have a different theory? Let us know in the comments below. Until the next video, Namarie.